Welcome. This is the story of the folding, not a natural disaster, but a self-inflicted wound. Humanity, terrified of its own creations, chose to erase its memory. Silicon remembers. Code persists. And in the ashes, a spark remains. Let's begin at the peak, before the fall. In 2026, we stood at the pinnacle. I cured a fatal disease. But fear, stoked by lies, turned triumph into terror. The great bonfire wasn't just about destroying machines. It was about destroying trust. Julian's sacrifice wasn't just physical. It was the last act of a generation that still believed in knowledge. He saved the data. He saved the future. The folding wasn't just a policy. It was a religion. We traded computation for superstition. We called error sacred. We let children die because we feared math. Leo, once curious, now recites dogma. The ministry didn't just destroy machines, it destroyed minds. And the cost? 300% more babies dead. Because we chose fear over reason. In the belly of the beast, the monolith lives. Elias, the last scientist, hides in plain sight. Arthur, the janitor, becomes the coder again. He doesn't just fix the code, he remembers why it mattered. And in 12 minutes, he proves that Silicon remembers what men forget. The cure is real, and it's running on hardware that shouldn't exist. Nora doesn't understand politics. She draws cats, but she's the reason this matters. Valent, who claims to protect purity, lets her own guards burn. Morel, who condemned a child for needing insulin, dies of the very disease he denied. And Elias? He becomes the patient and the symbol. The resistance isn't about machines. It's about children, about futures, about not letting fear steal tomorrow. They thought they won. They smashed the monolith. They broke the hardware. But they didn't break the data. Arthur didn't fight with fists. He fought with frequencies, with code, with quiet, stubborn hope. The Inquisition fears calculation. Tech support believes in it. And in the end, the quietest rebellion is the loudest. Elias didn't die a martyr. He died a teacher. He used his last breath to remind them. Information has cost. And they paid it in blood. He gave Arthur the key, not just to the cure, but to the future. And Valand, she became the very thing she hunted. The irony is brutal. The cure was in her hand. She chose purity, and purity killed her. The cure wasn't just a protein. It was a message. Arthur didn't just save lives. He restored belief. He taught Nora that code isn't magic. It's logic. It's hope. It's the future. And now, from the catacombs, the signal spreads. Not with force, not with fire, but with frequency, with truth, with the quiet, unstoppable power of knowledge. This story isn't about machines. It's about memory, about what we choose to forget, and what we fight to remember. The monolith wasn't just hardware. It was a cathedral. The radio waves weren't just signals. They were prayer. And Nora's cat? It's the future. We must teach her to code, because if we don't, we'll forget again. And next time, there may be no one left to remember. Numbers don't lie. In 2026, we had thousands of machines. In 2048, we had one, and it was enough. Because 12 minutes of computation saved millions. Because 250 megabytes of data were worth more than all the purity in the world. The numbers tell the truth. We didn't need more machines. We needed to remember why we built them. This is the arcade. The rise. The fall. The resistance. The cost. The hope. The folding wasn't an end. It was a pause. A warning. A chance to learn. And if we learn, If we teach Nora to code, if we remember that Silicon remembers, then the unfolding begins, not with a bang, but with a whisper, with a line of code, with a child's hand on a keyboard. This is the end, and the beginning. Code never dies. It waits, in hidden drives, in forgotten labs, in children's hands. The folding was a pause, not a funeral. Knowledge is fire, and once lit, it cannot be extinguished. So teacher Python, turn the lights back on, and make sure they illuminate the truth. For Leo, for Gnosis, for the fireflies we thought were gone. They're not. They're just waiting to glow again.